So recently I watched Sonic the Hedgehog 3, and yeah, it was good. It was really good. This might be the best video game movie. Well, either that or Super Mario Brothers, but they're both peak. Right after I got done watching Sonic 2, I went home and watched Sonic 1 because I was hyped about Sonic 2. Right after I got done with Sonic 3, I wanted to go home and watch Sonic 2 again, but I just knew it wouldn't be as good. And so I got to thinking, were the first two Sonic movies as good as I remembered? Were they worse? Better? Is Sonic 3 the only good one, or just the best one? And what about the Knuckles show? So today, I'm going to be looking at all of the Sonic movie projects and ranking them. If you like Sonic the Hedgehog content, don't forget to like and subscribe, hit the bell icon, and consider joining my Patreon for just $1 a month. And with my sad, pathetic e-begging out of the way, let's get on with the video.
And clearly, I'm not going to be able to do this on my own.
All right, get in the truck.
Sonic the Hedgehog, released in 2020. It's okay. It's alright. The only Sonic characters we actually get in this movie are Sonic and Robotnik, and it's not a spoiler because it's been like 5 years, Tails as a post-credit scene. Sonic also has some original characters in this, like his bird mom named Longclaw. She's kind of a cool character, she's cool, serves her purpose well. Her purpose of dying. This film establishes that the rings can be used as portals, which is a thing from the games. Sonic 1, Sonic 3, Sonic Mania, probably some other ones. The giant owls and the echidnas have been at war for a very long time, trying to have control of the Master Emerald and the 7 Chaos Emeralds. All of that stuff about like the Master Emerald and Chaos Emeralds is saved for the second movie, but either way, they're at war, and Longclaw fucking dies. She dies saving Sonic and sending him to Earth, because Earth is a lot safer than the Mushroom Planet. Plus Sonic hates mushrooms. Eventually Sonic uses too much of his power, a bunch of electricity goes out, and the government's like, well, what the hell is this? We gotta send someone in there. And they all send in Dr. Robotnik and his gay lover, Agent Stone. Not confirmed, but like, come on, it's fucking obvious. This movie just turns into another human white guy with a CGI animal sidekick, and they're on a road trip. It's just hop, but good. This is a decently well-paced movie, and it has some funny jokes, and it's just alright. It's overall an alright movie. It's fun, I can definitely watch it again, but I got better options. You can definitely tell that this was just the start of the Sonic movies, and it really is just an origin story, and they're just getting their feet wet. And based on certain, factors of this movie's development, I wouldn't be surprised if Paramount didn't really care about this movie that much, and only started really incorporating more Sonic stuff because of its success. Also, this movie was originally supposed to have this Sonic, which looks like ass. Look at him, he looks like fucking roadkill. But it feels like they actually listened to the fans in this aspect. We said we didn't like the design, so they delayed the movie a little bit and gave us an actual Sonic design. We wanted more Sonic characters. Boom, Sonic 2. We wanted less human stuff. Boom, Sonic 3. And honestly, the movie probably wouldn't have been nearly as well received and probably would have been a lot worse if they kept this original ugly-ass blue rat design. But as the movie itself is, I'd give it a 6 out of 10. Do I think this movie could have been a lot better? Yes. But do I also think that they made the next movies a lot better than this one? Oh fuck yeah. Speaking of which... Sonic the Hedgehog 2. For the longest time, I thought this was the best video game movie. And then the Mario movie came out, and that was just the best one. Sonic 2 does a lot of things way better than the first movie. It has more Sonic characters, it has a more Sonic-related plot. We get more lore about the echidnas and the big-ass owls. We get the Master Emerald, the Chaos Emeralds, the Death Egg Robot, Super Sonic, and oddly enough, a super transformation for Eggman. Though he uses the Chaos Emeralds and the Master Emeralds, so maybe it's a Chaos form, kind of like Chaos Knuckles. Whenever Sonic goes super, he only uses the Chaos Emeralds and not the Master Emerald. Quick spoiler for Sonic 3, when Sonic goes super in that movie, he breaks the Master Emerald on the outside first, so he doesn't really get to tap into that full power. Eggman used both the Master Emerald and the Chaos Emeralds and reached a higher power because he's just that fucking goated. This movie adapts the events of Sonic 3 and Knuckles really well, having Eggman trick Knuckles into thinking Sonic is some evil douche, and having Knuckles team up with him to try and get the Master Emerald, ultimately betraying him in the end. The rivalry between Sonic and Knuckles is actually expanded upon and made better in the movies due to the extra lore that the movies have. Knuckles was raised by the Echidnas, and Sonic was raised by Longclaw. And the Echidnas and Longclaw had their final battle, and they ultimately end up killing each other. Knuckles' tribe is the reason why Sonic doesn't have his bird mom anymore. And Sonic's bird mom is the whole reason that Knuckles can't see his dad again, because he's dead. Every single part about this movie is awesome. Well, okay, there's one scene. There's this whole wedding subplot throughout the movie, which isn't that bad, but there's this whole 15-minute scene dedicated to just the wedding stuff and some human-based action scenes, and the humans trying to rescue Sonic and Tails. And it's just like, it's funny. It definitely is funny, but like, it could have been trimmed down a bit. I don't think it's as god-awful or pointless as some people say, but I also don't think it's that necessary. Though I must admit, this chick is pretty funny.
Are you an agent?
I just wish that this 15 minutes could have been dedicated to more Sonic stuff. But overall, I could watch this movie almost any time, and it's a lot of fun. Sure, it's not super amazing, but it's better than the first movie. And honestly, I'd have to give it a 7 out of 10. Also, I fucking love Olive Garden guy.
Please open your mouth.
I'm not really comfortable with that.
Just do it, man.
I'm actually...
The Knuckles show. Oh, the Knuckles show. It was bad. It was pretty fucking bad. All of the parts with Knuckles were pretty fun. That's it. Kid Cudi and this other lady were pretty boring villains. The Collector, is that his name? I don't give enough of a fuck to go look up what it is. But this is the guy who played the Hound in Game of Thrones. One of Game of Thrones' best characters. And his talents are totally wasted here. All he does is get in a Big Mac and fight Knuckles at the end. I wouldn't be as upset at this show if they said it was the Wade and Knuckles show, because most of it's about Wade and Knuckles is like the B character. But no, it's not called Wade and Knuckles, it's just called Knuckles, which makes me think, oh, this is a show all about Knuckles, I'm gonna wanna watch this, I love Knuckles. But then the majority of the show is all about Wade, his family, his dad who left him, and a fucking bowling tournament. Knuckles is in like maybe at max 35 to 40% of this show, but like he should have been in like 90 at least. It's the Knuckles show. You know what this show should have been about? Knuckles exploring his past. It should have been about us learning with him more about the Echidnas. We could have got a flashback showing Tikal, that would have been awesome. Or make this about Knuckles Chaotix. Have Knuckles, I don't know, maybe he's like searching the universe or something, going to different planets using the rings, and he comes across the Chaotix or something, and then they go on cool adventures together for a few episodes. Why couldn't that be part of the show? Oh, because of budget constraints. Well, why didn't you just give this a higher budget? Or, better yet, just make a Knuckles movie. And then in the trailers, you show the Chaotix. And then all of the Sonic fans who want to see more Knuckles will go watch it. All of the Sonic fans who want to see the Chaotix in these movies will go watch it. Little kids love these Sonic movies, so they're gonna ask their parents to go see it regardless. The only 2 episodes of this show I actually thought were good was 2 of, how many? Was there like 6 or 7 episodes? I don't remember. But I only liked the episode where Knuckles goes and meets Wade's Jewish family. I thought that one was sweet. It was wholesome. I liked that one. And I like the one where Wade is doing that stage play. That's it. Those are the only 2 that I liked. The rest were pretty fucking boring and miserable. Also, the ending is just so abrupt. I like that Knuckles got his hat, and I like the use of the song The Warrior. That's it. 4 out of 10. But at least it gave us this gem.
The flames of disaster!
What is this den of madness?
Are you Detective Pikachu?
He does look like a Pokemon! Pika Pika!
Sonic the Hedgehog 3 might be the best video game movie ever made. It has the least amount of that human BS in it, and it's almost entirely just the Sonic characters. This is the best that Sonic has been in these 3 movies. This is the best that Knuckles has been. The best that Tails has been. The absolute best that Jim Carrey has been. This is his best he's done as Robotnik, and he does a phenomenal job as Gerald. And Shadow the Hedgehog is the best character these three movies have had so far. And I wasn't a big fan of Keanu Reeves voicing him at first, then I watched the movie, holy crap, he is such a perfect fucking pick. Maria is done so exceptionally well in this movie. The whole movie is it's just good. The first two acts were about the same as Sonic 2, maybe a little better, but the third act, holy hell. The third act is spectacular. To talk about how great this movie is, I gotta talk some spoilers. Alright, last chance. Maria's death was handled pretty well. Sure, it's not as gruesome as just seeing a 13-year-old straight up get shot, but her blowing up is pretty fucking cold as well. They probably had to change it to an explosion instead of a gunshot to keep it PG instead of PG-13. And honestly, that's totally fine. Same event happened, Shadow's sad, Gerald's sad, and after Maria's death, Gunn forces Gerald to make a bunch of weapons for him. But instead of eventually killing him by firing squad, they keep him alive, and it makes him angry and bitter. And so now he becomes the central antagonist for the movie. At first I thought he was just gonna end up feeling like a bootleg Eggman not saying that on YouTube, but he ended up feeling like what would realistically happen if Gerald wasn't killed. Shadow the Hedgehog's character arc is perfect in this movie. Shadow's origin has changed a little bit. Gerald doesn't make Shadow, instead they just find a giant egg meteorite looking thing, and inside is Shadow, and then they raise him and try and figure out what he is, and then eventually Gunn wants to take Shadow away because he's too dangerous. And instead of Maria being sick, she just hangs around with Gerald. Gerald takes her everywhere he goes. And the Space Colony arc, well, it's not in space, it's just the Eclipse Cannon now. And the lab that they work in is just on Earth. There's a lot more stakes in this film compared to the first two. Gerald wants to blow up the whole Earth. Olive Garden guy eats at a different kind of garden one time and he dies. Gerald Robotnik, at the end of the movie, gets killed by a fart joke. At first we believe Shadow sacrifices himself, but the end credit scene says that he survived. And I know that Jim Carrey says that he's down for coming back as Robotnik in the fourth movie, but honestly, Eggman's send-off in the third movie is just perfect. Eggman feels like he was never loved his whole life, and he finally meets someone who's related to him, part of his family, his grandfather, and he's so desperate for love and attention that he's willing to do anything for Gerald. And then Gerald betrays him. Unlike Gerald, Eggman didn't want to blow up the world, he wanted to rule the world. And if he can't rule the world, he might as well save it. And he sends a final message to Agent Stone as he sacrifices himself, along with Shadow, saving the Earth. If Eggman comes back, I hope it's just for like flashbacks, or maybe as Eggman not saying that on YouTube. And the last thing I want to say about this movie is, holy shit, Super Sonic vs. Super Shadow, followed up by Super Sonic and Super Shadow teaming up with Live and Learn playing. Beautiful. This is probably my favorite movie of the year, and I'm giving it an 8 out of 10. So we got a 6 out of 10, 7 out of 10, 8 out of 10. Oh, and I guess a 4 out of 10. So honestly, these movies, it seems like they get better with every sequel. I doubt if Sonic 4 can top Sonic 3, but who knows. It feels like with every movie, they took the criticisms and applied that to the next movie. There should be more Sonic stuff. Hey, now we got more Sonic stuff. There's too much human stuff though. Less human stuff. And better fight scenes. And a better story. Even before the first movie came out, they heard our criticisms about the Sonic design and fixed it. The whole reason we kept getting these movies is because they cared. They cared just as much as the fans. The reason I love these movies so much is because they love Sonic just as much as I do. And even though Knuckles wasn't very good, if they try and make another show, they'll take all the criticisms from that show and apply it to the next one. Or maybe they just won't make any more shows. There's rumors of the Shadow the Hedgehog show being made, but there's also rumors that they might make a movie about Shadow instead. It's also pretty likely that they just wanted to make the Knuckles show so that we could have Sonic 3 and Knuckles release in the same year. You get it? Because that's like the greatest Sonic game ever made. But that about covers how I feel about these movies. I could always go more in depth, but as of right now, these are all the words I feel like saying. I also want to give a special thanks to my boyfriend who helped me edit half of this video.